Har has had a long-term relationship with Annonas, so I would really like him to share his knowledge about all sorts of Annonas that he has come in contact with and studied over the years. So here's Har.
So I'm standing by a custard apple tree, Annona reticulata. It's just one of over 100 species listed in the Annona genus by botanists, and that's one of many dozens of genera, the plural of genus, in the Annonaceae family, or Annonaceae family, which has over 2,500 species. Hundreds of these species produce edible fruits, but only a few of them are considered major fruits, good enough to want to plant in your yard or plant an orchard for commerce. In North America, we do have around 10 species in the Annonaceae family, and they're all listed in the Asimina genus. Asimina is the botanist pronunciation of a word from a native North American language. The Powhatan tribe called them Asimin. And another tribe, I forget which one, called them Papa, P-A-H-P-A-H, which in English now we spelled P-A-W, P-A-W, and say pawpaw. Florida has several related species that are called pawpaw as well, but the species that grows from the panhandle of Florida up to southern Canada, Asimina triloba, is the main species in North America that produces big, really wonderful fruit. Some persons have managed to fruit it as far south as Tampa, Florida. But here farther south in Florida, none of us have been successful growing pawpaw of the Asimina triloba species. There are the wild ones around here with tiny fruit that are mostly seed. You can play around with those, but that's more of a hobbyist thing. You won't get a lot of nutrition or extreme gustatory pleasure from growing those. Central America and South America are the sources of the species that are grown commercially in the tropics and subtropics. So there's the soursop, which is called Annona muricata. I prefer to call it Guanabanus muricatus. And several related species, such as mountain soursop, that's not very good. And then we have the actual true Annona group, which includes the custard apple, Annona reticulata, and the sugar apple, which is Annona squamosa, and the true cherimoya, which is Annona cherimolia, and hybrids between those. There are several other wonderful species from Brazil that have not yet been grown commercially, but in the future they probably will be. So there's Annona saltzmanii, or the beach araticum, and from northeastern Brazil, and there's the Annona crassiflora from the scrublands in central Brazil, with a very large pointy fruit. We've not had any luck growing that here in Florida. It seems to be very, very particular about what type of soil it grows in, or needs a relationship with beneficial soil fungi or something like that, that it just hasn't gotten wherever we've tried it here. And in Central America, there is the Annona scleroderma, or kawesh, that has been fruited a few times here in Florida, but also seems to be very picky about the soil conditions it grows in. People are now starting to grow it on different rootstocks. I do believe we'll be successful in the long term here in Florida. The kawesh, Annona scleroderma, has a banana pineapple flavor, very creamy, and a real distinctive, nice aroma. One of my favorite fruits as well. From the Amazon region, there's the Rollinia deliciosa, also known as Annona mucosa. And a lot of people just call it Rollinia, which is okay if you remember, though, that Rollinia is a whole genus with more than 45 species. So the Rollinia deliciosa can be a small fruit or can be very large. It's highly variable. Some of them are smooth skins, and some have fleshy points sticking out like 1.5 inches. Usually bright yellow. And the flavor is a sweet tart flavor, and it's so smooth textured that it's like butter. If you let it get overripe, and especially if the fruit developed during cold weather or has been refrigerated and is overripe, then it ends up being mucousy. And that's how I got the name Annona mucosa, which I despise, because Rollinia deliciosa, eaten at the proper stage, is one of the finer fruits on this earth. And very refreshing. Eaten at the wrong stage of ripeness, or a fruit that developed in the winter, it earns the other name. There are fruits in this same family from most of the tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Even the temperate zone. So the Asimina triloba is very much a temperate zone fruit here in North America. It can fruit all the way up to southern Ontario, Canada. In southern China, there are quite a few species that I don't know much about, but some of those are edible. Others just have beautiful flowers, but they are members of this family, and definitely growing in temperate zone mountain areas in southern China. Some even up almost into central China. Very cold. In South America, there are several species in the Rollinia genus that also grow down into the temperate zone in northern Argentina and Uruguay, Paraguay, and the mountains in southern Brazil, where there's snow most years, and temperatures can get down into the teens. I've seen some of those. Most of them have very seedy fruit, but they do taste good. So if you live in northern Florida or southern Georgia, something like that, and really want some Annonas besides the pawpaw, you could try some of those. In other areas of the world, such as India, Indonesia, Africa, there are many fruits in this family that produce clusters of fruit, much as the pawpaw also does. Yeah, one flower produces many fruitlets, usually in finger-shaped, sometimes kind of grape-shaped, all in one cluster from one flower. One species in the Annonaceae family from Australia is the Meogini cylindrocarpa. There didn't seem to be an English name for it until I named it finger sop. We have the sour sop and we have the sweet sop, And so I named this fruit from Australia the finger sop because the fruits are finger shaped. Each fruitlet is about the size of my thumb. Start out green and shiny, then turn bright red and shiny, and then a duller shine with a dark burgundy red color. Inside a pretty orange colored pulp. The skin is edible, which is a good thing because it's mostly seed with some nice tasting pulp, but quite mild flavored and a lot of seeds. If you're to try to peel the fruit to just eat the pulp, you would have quite a mess on your hands. But when you eat the peel, you can eat it very cleanly.